Okay, friends, welcome back. Today is what we have been working towards for the last 20 days. This is the Rave Human Design New Year. And I'm going to look at it through both aspects, through business and through awakening. Now, of course, we can look at it through health, wellness, relationships. We could look at it through so many lenses. But because two of the biggest aspects that I bring to the human design world is the awakening aspect and the business aspect. So the whole point of this was so that you can really lean into, we are moving to a whole new capitalistic world. Capitalism is transforming. In 2027, with the cross of the sleeping phoenix, we have the 54 engaged in that. And 54 is all about this huge pressure to transform. We are designed to be in this transformation. It feels very difficult. I hate that word, but it feels like we're in this constraint right now. And what that does, what constraint does and pressure, what it truly does is it allows us, it's like a diamond, right? This diamond. There was huge amounts of pressure put on carbon so that this diamond could be extrapolated, the facets of it and the fractal lines of it could be extrapolated, the beauty of its ability to bring light in and shine it in so many different ways, colors, and all of that. So that really is what pressure does. So if you're feeling pressurized, that, my friend, the human design body graph is a pressure sandwich. And I'm not going to tell you that it's good or bad. It's just an aspect that we can become aware of so that we can transform, have new beginnings, be really, truly inspired. So now let's take a look at this year. Again, this video might be a little long, so bear with me. And if you want to take it in chunks, feel free to take it in chunks. So on January 21st at 1949 and some seconds, I don't have the seconds here at this moment. The 41 is now activated through the sun. So every year, because the 41 is the start codon, even though, my friends, it is actually in, let's just take a look at this. It is actually in the fourth quarter, and it's in the fourth quarter of transformation. So even though the start codon isn't like the start of the first quarter or anything like that, this is still the codon for this is beginning. And why I wanted to talk about pressure is this. First, we have a reflector energy this year. For me, I love that. I love reflector energy because it has the capacity to interact and be in the world with a Teflon coating. So this year is going to be a great amount of space for you and me and anyone on the planet that's ready to actually truly observe and evaluate and just let the situations fall off of us as they need to, okay? So every year when the sun gets activated by the 41, we get the solar new year. I don't know if you guys can hear that. So what's happening in our world right now is a ginormous amount of snow. I am in northern Canada, so my husband is in the tractor trying to plow snow for us because it has done nothing but snow for like 3 or 4 weeks now. That's all we've had. We couldn't get a stitch of rain all summer. And now we're getting ginormous amounts of snow. Very interesting. Anyway, so I don't think it's going to be that much of a bother if I continue on. Okay. So the 41, this is decrease. What this is saying is that there's a contraction here. We want to come down. So the limitation of resources, which maximizes development of potential. I find this so fascinating, this sentence. Why? I hear this so often. I've lost everything. I'm at the bottom of the barrel. You know, I'm totally broke. And at that space where the limitation of resources, that limitation of resources actually maximizes the development of potential. Now, am I saying that you have to, you know, go broke and hit the bottom in order to go up? No, that's not what I'm saying. But we hear this a lot, where people lose it all and then they come back to be multi-millionaires, or maybe they totally shift their whole reality of what's important. I see this as well, where businessmen, they lose it all and then they completely change what they're doing in this world and they become these magnificent family men. I have seen that more than once. So just lean into the fact that what this is saying is this. What we need to do is come down to the sensation and feeling of what truly is important to us. What is that number one feeling that you want to feel? You want to ask yourself that question. The 41 is pointing up to the 30. The 30 is all about fates. And what it is asking us to do is to actually truly move into one sensation, one thing, one feeling. And luckily, human design actually provides us with a feeling inside of each one of our designs. So mine's the satisfaction. So I do my best. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it, but I do my best every day to have that sensation of satisfaction. And when I'm in my meditations and when I'm imagining, I truly put that feeling of satisfaction in my cells. Now, my satisfaction is going to be totally different than yours. That sensation is going to be completely different than what my sensation is going to be. Okay. So that's the very first thing. This is what the sun is telling us, that we need to just chill for a minute, come down, contract down, and actually feel that pressure and fuel to, let me just read it off my list, to decrease, to come to a place where we can actually get pleasure out of the fantasy. You might be going, what are you talking about, Leann? Well, this is a channel of imagination. This is all about fantasy. And that's how our human experiential way actually begins. We have to see it out there in the consciousness field. We have to see it in that mental capacity before we can actually see it in our 3D world. And in saying that, it isn't about forcing something into your world. Because when you close your eyes and you let the meditation and the imagination permeate through you, you are going to see and be in this area where nobody else is. It's yours. It's not my fantasy. It's not your neighbor's fantasy. It's your fantasy. So whatever that is for you. Okay. So now the 31, every single year, the 41 and the 31 are in the sun and the earth. Why? Because they're opposite in the wheel. Sun and the earth are opposite in the mandala. The 31 is all about influence. And the influence is all about how are we influencing that leadership ability inside of us? Now you can look at this, okay? You can look at this as this is what's happening in the collective, right? That's what the transit's doing. But it's also bringing you a ginormous amount of awareness. So every year on the Rave New Year, you're being supported, empowered, and asking for the sharing of the energy to happen, because the 41 and 31 are all about the collective experience, collective abstract and logic, because we are in this collective. So the law of friction, whether active or passive, that engenders transference and thus influence. So where are you being influential? Through your own design. You probably, don't have all of these in your design. Possibly you might, could be. But you want to look at, where are you actually being influential? What is influencing you? What emotions can influence you and then pull you off the correct action? So you want to look at I shouldn't say positive and negative, but you want to look at the entire continuum of each gate. So where are you being influenced and where are you influencing? Okay. You want to look at that. And are you actually being the leader of your own life? Or are you being led down a path that isn't yours, has nothing to do with your imagination, and you're just kind of walking along and life is showing up and you're really, really unhappy about it? Okay, that's what you want to look at. Now, if we look at the 8 and the 14, you guys have heard me say this when we shifted that reality on the 17th. The 8 is all about contribution. This is the leader who actually demonstrates the contribution that they're making in this world. So the basic worth realized in contributing individual efforts to group goals. What are you contributing? What are you contributing? Are you contributing disempowerment or are you contributing empowerment? Again, use the keynotes of the line value, of the circuitry value. You want to lean into all of that. And then the 14 is all about those power skills, the accumulation and retention of power through skilled interaction coupled with grace and control. You've heard me talk about this on the 17th. So what do you have in your wheelbarrow that you're willing and able and ready to contribute, have an influential impact on the world, and be able to fulfill your fantasy? Because it's your fantasy. It's your human experience. It's not my human experience. So those first 4 values and activations are really, really essential for us to go, okay, because every year the 41 and the 31 roll around, but you're not going to see the 8 and the 14. You're not going to see them for another 9 years positioned with the 14 and then the 8 at the beginning of the year, because the nodes go every 18 point something years. So every 9 years, you get the opposite effect. So now the 47, this is the moon. The moon is in our own body graphs, it's the driving force. And because the moon moves so quickly, that a lot of times, if you're not a reflector energy or not a manifestor energy, sometimes we may or may not even really notice the moon shifting in the gates. I will be honest with you, I don't. The channels that I have in my design are so filled with power that the moon shifting does not create a massive amount of effect on my body. So the 47, a restrictive and adverse state as a result of internal weakness or external strength, or both, because this is all about self-oppression. Nobody's oppressing you. We might have this sensation currently right now, going through these last 2 years, where the cross of planning is trying to inflict oppression on us. However, you get to create your own reality. I'm going to tell you that my life, my husband's life, none of it has changed at all with all the chaos and craziness that's happened in the world. Zero, zip, nada. And I know tons and tons of people that have traveled all over the world and have none of it has affected them. Okay. So you get to decide, do you want the collective and the narrative that's coming out of the collective and the collective experience? Do you want to allow it to be a self-oppressed reality for you? Or would you like to see the weakness, recognize how the outside circumstances, they might have some strength, and yet you truly lean into your human design and you navigate on this planet and recognize that everybody that you bump into, all the little things that you're moving through, they're the characters in your book. Okay. You get to write it how you want it written. 41, again, here in Mercury. Mercury is the voice, it's our communication. So you're going to hear a lot about this, a lot about starting something, imagination. You're going to hear a lot about contraction. You're going to hear a lot about decrease. You're going to hear a lot, because 2022 is going to be a very interesting year in the stock market and cryptocurrency. There's so much talk that, everybody's portfolios are going to be wiped out, blah, 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 blah. We've heard this before. We're going to hear it again because humans, we love to repeat history. History doesn't repeat itself, but humans love to repeat history. So we do this all the time. We have booms and we have busts. That's what we do. And we're communicating that. We're communicating this movement that we're having as humans. 38, again, totally love this. We have this gate of the fighter. We've had it for a while. You've heard me talk about it. So the ability to preserve individual integrity through opposition to detrimental forces. Are you being empowered no matter what is happening on our planet? Do you have the sensation of empowerment within you? Are you actually fighting for your own individuality, not somebody's collective idea of how you should be operating on this planet? Okay. Then we have the 11. The 11, peace. What is this? This is all about ideas. So this idea factory, a harmonic condition in the individual or society that permits assessment before renewed action. Okay. But I also want to say here, there is the anxiety here that nothing's going to happen. There's a darkness. We're not going to have any experiences. So this dark energy that comes in and says, we're going to be experienceless. So we're going to have zero ideas. It's going to be dark. Our ideas aren't going to flow. Now you want to look at this and go, having the capacity for that renewed action. That's what this year is asking you. Take renewed action. Okay. Assess where you're at. That's what we've been doing for 20 days. And now shift gears into that renewed energy field, that renewed action. 55, Jupiter. Well, Jupiter's is the laws. 55, abundance. Again, love this gate because it's a part of the cross of the sleeping phoenix. That's where we're moving. Abundance is strictly a question of spirit. And I went over this greatly in the last 20 days. This is the fear of emptiness. And this, my friends, this is where we have been tricked into this consumer-oriented reality, where if I have, that piece of clothing, or if I have that car, or if I have this, or I have that, or if I have this food, or if I have this, or if I have that, then I will feel full and happy And the exact opposite is actually the truth. The fulfillment of the reality is through the spirit, through the love, through that level of vibrational energy. The abundance factor only happens when we actually live abundance, be filled with spirit, so that the void and that emptiness is not a place that we're trying to fill it up with things outside of us. We are filled with spirit. And you've heard me say this like hundreds of times. Go into your house, go into your shop, go into your car, whatever that is, whatever it is for you, and clean off a shelf, a drawer, a tabletop, whatever. Guess what happens? Naturally, things start to accumulate back on there. So you want to be very aware of what you're putting in your void. How are you trying to fill that void? So 2022 is saying, be aware, be empowered by what you're putting inside that void. If you're feeling disempowered and just trying to fill it up with food and sex and stuff, purses and clothing and shoes, cars and watches and things like that, and you're still feeling empty, as the 50 or the 41 would say, okay, just go to that space where you limit your resources. Clean it out so that spirit can permeate. And I'm not saying having things is bad. That's not what I'm saying. But having conscious creation over what comes into your reality, that is how spirit and abundance can be experienced. But you must feel abundant first. So you've also heard me say this too, is I've been to Africa, to Rwanda. I was over there for 3 weeks. And I was just like, I was in amazement at the kindness and beauty and permeation of the human beings over there. But what I also was very, very, very aware of was a vast majority of them are not living in what, Western society would call, great homes or any of that kind of stuff. But the pride and the abundance that those people there experience because they actually have limited resources. The gatherings, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning in churches where they're just coming together and they're singing. And I was staying in Kigali, which is the capital of Rwanda. There's over 1 million people that live there. And there's no noise. There's no pollution. There's not a ton of vehicles going. People ride bikes, they walk. They go to their churches. You could hear the singing in the churches. From miles away, you could hear the singing happening. The abundance in the spirit of that particular space that I was in and what I saw and witnessed was amazing to me. But, they don't have cars and fancy houses and jets and yachts and a whole bunch of things. They're even like brooming off their front stoop, which is dirt. I'm not saying that's how everybody lives. That's not how I'm saying. I'm not saying that there isn't, quote unquote, a poverty mindset in spaces, because there probably is. But they shifted the narrative to being abundant, to allowing themselves to feel empowered with less. Okay? So go to that space and just see. Take a breath and just see what your spirit is indicating to you. Now, the 13, I love it. Again, one of my favorite gates. The universal ideas and values in an ordered framework, which inspires humanistic cooperation. Again, in this whole channel of the prodigal, we hear a lot of secrets, but the 13 is that fellowship of man. It's the gate of the listener. There will be lots of secrets spoken and lots of secrets kept, lots of secrets hidden, lots of uncovered secrets. It's going to be a very interesting year, and it's in Saturn, and Saturn can be very disciplinary. So if you are not, my friend, if you are not getting real with yourself this year, there will be secrets that come out that you did not want uncovered. And then what happens? We get totally ashamed of our own experiences and our own secrets. So I would recommend write down your secrets in your journal. Get them out of you. I'm not saying you have to go spread your laundry everywhere. Get them out of the mind so that the conditioned mind isn't chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing. How do I lie to keep cover of this? How do I do this to keep this suppressed? How do I do that? So that you can experience a whole new way of listening to people and listening to the consciousness field. This fellowship of man, we're in this collective together. There's so many secrets. As well, if we take a look at this through the lens of business, you guys, you can sell secrets, lots of them. You can demonstrate and contribute. You've heard me say this on other business videos. Be influential. You can use your resources and time to earn a ton of money. Okay, 24, this rationalization, it returns. Our thought patterns they have this capacity to return. They go back to the same thing and they chew on it. And individually, the whole point of this is because humans are addicted. That's what the 24 really indicates to us. There's an addiction. We're addicted to knowing the unknown. We're addicted to it. So the natural and spontaneous process of transformation and renewal. So we may think about something over and over and over, that rationalization, until poof, spontaneously we get it. Oh, there it is. There's the knowing. At times, that struggle the word that I don't really love, that uncomfortable space where we don't really know, we don't know the unknown. So we get really uncomfortable and we try to go back into our rut. We try to go back into that comfort zone because we know the comfort zone. It's like keeping your enemies close, as they say, because you know what you're dealing with. Here, it's about going, okay, there's a thought pattern. And sometimes it's a returning that we do to the thought pattern, so that each moment that we grow in the expansion, then we can rationalize, get that transformation and that renewal spontaneously, because that is what the individual energy does. So if you got this, guess what? This is a part of your design. Addictions. Addictions are freaking huge in our world. And addictions to things that are not good for us. Why? Because we're trying to suppress and be suppressed in our empowerment. We are more scared of our internal power and being empowered than we are about being disempowered. Totally backwards thinking, I know. Okay, now the 22, again, you've heard me say this a million times. This is like really this tone and cadence and internal music. This is our connection with source material and being able to live God inside of us, be God inside of us, this grace in the mundane, in the trivial situations, going to pick up the kids, going to work, starting your own business. These are all mundane tasks. You know, I go check my cows every day, hang out with my dog, do my dishes, I vacuum my floors, all mundane tasks. And yet inside of that, there is the grace of God. And the 60, this is where Pluto is. And this is, again, to me, Pluto's like this. Actually, a lot of the outside gates or movement of the planets is like this. Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, they kind of go back and forth and back and forth. And it's like they do this. For me, it's like your windshield wiper on your car, on your vehicle, where it kind of just, moves it off, and then it hits you again, and then it moves it off, and then the rain comes again and it moves it off, just so that we can get this clear view in between this movement. So the 60 and the 61 have been playing this game for a very, very long time. I love it. But Pluto's this truth and this transformation. So how can you accept yourself? How can you accept your human design? How can you accept your decision-making strategy? How can you accept where you are and where you want to be? How can you accept the empowered person that you can be? Can you accept this? Because once you accept it, you transcend the limitation. Okay? Once you accept it, you transcend the limitation. The acceptance of limitation is the first step in transcendence. Accepting that you, my friend, can and will be your design and the mechanics if you just accept it. In business, we're all told, well, you got to do this for marketing, and you got to do that for marketing, and you got to do this, and to make money, you have to do that and do this. Human design actually provides you with a mechanical way to earn money through your theme, through satisfaction, through success, through awe, through peace. And the only way to do that is to shift it in your cells first. Feel those sensations. Get a really good sense. If you are a manifester, what does peace feel like in your cellular structure? What does surprise feel like for a reflector? What does success feel like for you as a projector? And what does satisfaction feel for you, the builder, the generator, the manifesting generator? And my friends, that is the only way to earn money, through the grace, abundance, acceptance, empowerment, contributing factors. It's the only way for you to be influential. The only way for you to show up in this world, by letting go of the oppression of the conditioning. Okay, so now what's not here? Okay, what's not here? We don't have any life force channels. So this year, again, be open to awe and surprise. Be open to just letting stuff move off of you, even though you may not have the reflector energy. That's so 2022 is asking us. And we have completely open inspiration center. Inspiration and being inspired. Really trust your inner guidance for who's inspirational, what is designed to inspire others. The heart center, this is our core factor in materialism and individuation. So there's a divergence here, and a convergence and a divergence. We can bring all of this material together, and we get to sit in our innocence while we are in this material world, if we choose it. So you want to look at what's going on with your material realization. Do you have that capacity to be daring, to step out, be supported and empowered in your business? And then, love it, is the spleen. Fear, 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 and more fear. This, my friend, is how the cross of planning will totally run our world this year. More fear porn. None of it needs to be in your reality if you just begin to create through the consciousness field. Now, again, in the collective, I get it. We're living in this collective soup. So we're not separate from it at all. However, it does not need to oppress you. Does not need to oppress you. The fear actually shifts us into this massive amount of awareness. Massive amount of awareness. Because that's what's on the other side of fear, is awareness. Okay. I would love to have comments. Share how you guys did for the last 20 days. The reflections, the secrets, the spirit, the abundance, the empowerment, the personal power that's come out of this. What uncovered for you so that as we step into 2021, we can earn money through grace. We can earn money through transcending limitation. We can earn money by being influential. We can earn money by stepping into our own empowerment. We can earn money by living the fantasy and imagination that is flowing through you in your meditations. There's an open canvas here. Your particular design is how you are going to interact with the world. But the energy field for 2022 is saying, let's lean in to the surprise. Let's just allow and be and accept and witness. Witness, witness, witness. Huge year for evaluation. Huge year for evaluation coming up. Hence the reason this whole journaling practice will get you set up for that. So it has been my honor. Thank you very much for being here for the last 21 days. I know today's video was very, very long. Take it in the chunks that you need to. Again, down below, you will see all of my coaching packages. That, my friends, is really what I love to do, because with a totally open head, totally open ajna, totally open G center, I have the capacity through my design to literally show you the way, because your design speaks and I reflect that back to you. Okay. So if you're ready and willing to move into, maybe it's a brand new career, maybe it's a brand new business, maybe you just want to take what you know and have a side hustle. Maybe you want to take what you know and take it to the next level. That's why I'm here. So enjoy 2022. Enjoy the next 365 days. Lean into your brilliance. Lean into your own capacity to be empowered. And use the transits for a support mechanism and a sharing mechanism and an empowerment mechanism, and allow it to be a guiding factor of what's going on in the world, so that you can always stay strong and centered in who you are despite the circumstances. Okay, thank you very much, friends. Again, super honored. Thank you.